Okay, it is raining cats and dogs where we are. Winds about 70 miles per hour. We got a huge tree limb that came down on our house. Luckily, we have a strong, sturdy house that was built back, I think, in 1937 or something like that. So, of course, we'll call up the claims adjusters and kind of beef it up a little bit, you know what I mean? But the bottom line is Barbara's rolling her eyes again. Oh, my God, I don't know what to do. But look, with everything going on right now, you don't want to go out much. You shouldn't be going out much to the store. Keep it down. So what do? Well, you do like I do. You go into your arsenal and you bring out stuff that you can use for a rainy day. So they call me the bone collector. And why is that? Because when I go shopping at the fish market, instead of getting the fillets, I'll get a whole fish. I'll tell them to fillet it. And I said, keep the head and the bones, put that in a separate bag, so you waste nothing. I put that in a freezer bag, throw it in the freezer, have that there. I save chicken bones, meat bones, and why? Because I make my own stock. So what are we doing today? We're gonna make some fish and chicken stew. Delicious. And you see my little buddy over here, my boy Leroy, he is ready. Fish and chicken stew. I know you wish you could eat, but you're made out of whatever, porcelain or whatever. Good seeing you, baby. Anyway, so look, I already have this stuff started, but I just want to show you exactly what's going on right now. Barbara, focus in on this here and look at this stew. Just take a look. Oh man, it just smells just absolutely wonderful. This has been brewing now for about 3.5 hours or so. But I'm going to tell you how I got to this point. What I did was I took 2 carcasses of orata. It's a Mediterranean fish. It's very flavorful. What do the carcasses do? The bones have all sorts of minerals, the marrow and stuff like that. It releases all the nutrients. What you do, you take a pot like this, or you could use a Dutch oven for that matter, and you just put in water. I have about maybe 4 or 5 quarts of water in this. I use filtered water from my refrigerator. And then I take the carcasses, the bones, and I throw them in. And I have that on a low simmer for about maybe 3 hours or so. And once that's done, I take out the bones and you have your stock. And it's the same thing you can do for chicken bones. You can have chicken stock, you can have beef stock, just use the bones, just hold on to them. And make sure this is maybe just a little bit of meat on them or whatever. Once that's done, I take my spices. And you can use any kind of spices. What I like to use, I have my Old Bay seasoning, which is great, especially for fish, seafood. And with this, it has enough salt in it, so if you're on a low sodium diet, you really don't need a whole lot of it. You don't really need any other salt. That's a great seasoning. I have thyme, I have oregano, I have coarse ground black pepper, I have garlic powder, but if you want to use minced garlic, or garlic cloves, you can use that. I have bay leaves, always good for stews and broths. Barbara's favorite here, I know she can't stand this stuff, but it's my seaweed snacks. It's just basically seaweed. And I did that in another episode, and it really comes okay. She won't even know the difference. I chop my little baby carrots up. I also chop up 1 whole onion, chop up 1 whole tomato. I have just regular mushrooms. I chop those up, and I have 1 celery stalk, and I just chop that down. I combine all of this, and I throw it into the pot for the imam. And then I let that simmer like on low to medium low for maybe about another 2 or 3 hours. So the carrots are soft, the celery, everything is just hunky-dory. And once again, if you don't want to put fish in, or you don't want to put any kind of chicken or meat in, then what you do, this is just a great, hearty vegetable soup. Just look at that. It's just absolutely wonderful. Now, what I'm going to do now, since this has been brewing now for, I said 3 or 4 hours or so, we're almost at the end of this. I'm going to put in my chicken, all right? Now, I have chicken breast strips here, and I just throw that in there, all right? Oh, my God, look at that. Just simmer, baby. Simmer, mama. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Look at that, okay? And what I'm going to let that do is I'm going to let that simmer for about maybe 10 to 15 minutes or so. It doesn't take long for chicken to cook at all, and especially in a stew like this. And what you really want, you just want those spices to kind of, just melt into the meat. So I'm going to cover this. And then after that's done, in about 10 minutes or so, I'm going to put in my salmon. I have North Atlantic salmon. I usually like that a lot. Norwegian salmon is good, Canadian salmon. And since fish takes no time to cook, once I throw the fish in, I'll have it in there for maybe 5 minutes at the most, and it's ready. And then once that's done, Lord, jeez, I'm telling you, this is going to be the mother of all mothers. Look at this already. See, if you come focus in, Barbara. See the chicken? The chicken is almost already done, okay? Almost already done. And it's just been in there just a couple of minutes. So as I said, maybe 10 minutes or so, not even 15, 10 minutes. I'll give it that much. One thing, because it's surrounded by water and stuff like that, it's not going to get tough. So, you know, you taste it and see what you like. Then I'll throw in the fish. That may be a couple of minutes. And then you have a meal. Look, this is a wonderful thing to have any time of year, but especially now when you don't want to go out. You just search what's in your cabinet. And, you know, you season, you know, to taste. You might want to use other seasonings in there. You know, coriander is a great seasoning. Parsley, you can put that in. I would suggest probably fresh parsley for something like this. And then you go, you know, you can just go bananas with it. It's a good thing. You know, the thing about this is you make a big pot. If it's just yourself or a significant other like Barbara and I, you know, you have plenty left over, you can freeze this stuff. So anytime you want this, you can use it later. But the whole thing is the broth. That is the foundation. Now, you can go out and buy chicken broth or chicken stock and all that kind of stuff. No. Just do this yourself. And you're going to save money. So when you go, just save the bones. Become the bone collector. Now, there's an old saying that catfish makes your nature rise. But I think this fish stew is going to make Barbara's nature rise. What do you say about that, B?
Yeah, I guess.
You guess? Yeah, I guess. Trust me. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But the bottom line is, JP's, Julian Phillips, fish and chicken stew. You can just make fish stew. You can make chicken stew. You can make chitlin stew, whatever you want to make. Or just a vegetable stew. And there you have it. And just season the taste. I'm out.